Hey everyone, checking out the YouTube channel. If you're here watching this video, you probably listened to the Childhood of the Wolf podcast. This is our companion YouTube channel that kind of pairs with the podcast. We talk about toys, movies, comic books, all things kind of fandom, nerdy, whatever. So we decided to make a YouTube so that we can do some visual stuff beyond just the audio of listening to a podcast. Seeing as we're talking about toys, action figures, things that are really visual. We wanted to share some of those visuals with you. Hopefully in the future, we're able to work on actually putting up some of the Zoomcasts with the guests that we've had on the podcast on the YouTube channel. So if you don't want to listen to the podcast on your headphones or whatever, you can load up YouTube and just have it running on a TV screen, on your phone screen, a tablet, whatever, and see some of the stuff that we're talking about and visually showing each other while we're talking during podcast episodes when there's guests through Zoom and so on and so forth. You get to see a little more of the visual interaction between me and the guests, which can be really, really fun. That being said, we are working to learn more and more about YouTube and how all the intricacies of it work. So just like any YouTube channel that you've watched for a long time, you've seen those improvements happen, and we're hoping that we'll take that same trajectory ourselves and improve the channel for you guys so that the quality of what you're watching on the YouTube channel gets better and better in the future. So bear with us as we're learning and getting better at this whole process. I promise you, as we move forward, we'll definitely learn new things and new tricks and try to improve that for you guys that are tuning in and watching. And of course, the podcast keeps going. We're always looking to line up new guests and have new topics and bring more just toy talk, action figure talk, nerd talk, comic books, whatever, to everyone that is tuning in and listening to the episodes, which we truly, truly appreciate. Hopefully, with the media that we got going, we also have an Instagram. You're here because you either listen to the podcast, you follow the Instagram, you like what you've heard, you like what you see on the Instagram, you jumped over here to check out the video. We did make a post about this stuff right here on the Instagram, and a bunch of people replied in the comments saying they'd love to see little videos showing off the new Mattel Masterverse Masters in the Universe toy line that will be going with the Netflix series that airs July 23rd. So like week and a half. Pretty excited for it. Toy collecting as a child began for me with He-Man, with Masters of the Universe. So I will always, always, always have a deep connection to Masters of the Universe. So seeing Kevin Smith's show running the new Netflix series, seeing the voice cast that they have on that new series, I'm really excited. I'm really hopeful that it's enjoyable and it really does a service to those of us that are big Masters of the Universe fans. The toy lines are starting to hit shelves. We have the main 4 characters released so far in the toy line are being found at Walmart. There are 2 figures that are Target exclusive. We have those over here. They're not on camera right now, but I will show them to you. And those are Target exclusives, and those are hitting Target shelves and have been for a little bit. So you should be able to start finding all of these action figures in your Walmart's, Targets. I don't know moving forward with the line if they'll continue to have exclusives or not, but it seems like they're going to be fairly easy to find. It seems like they're putting out a fair amount of them when they're releasing them. So if you're looking for these, start hitting your Walmarts and Targets and you should be able to find them. I'm not going to open every figure. I'm not going to go through actual reviews on all of these figures. We'll do a quick little look. Hopefully I don't put too much glare on the screen when I show these figures to you guys. We'll maybe pop open one of them and just kind of show you the basics of what the articulation is like on them. Just give you a pretty quick idea of what they're kind of like. And then I'll let you guys decide for yourselves if there's something you want to pick up or if you're going to pass on them. But I definitely think that if you are a He-Man fan, they're worth it. They're really fun. Excuse me. So let's just jump into it. Let's start with our baddies first. So first we have Skeletor, and we're going to try to give you somewhat of a look without too much glare. It's going to be kind of tough, I think. But you got Skeletor there. Just Skeletor on the side of the box. You've got Masterverse up on the top here. You got a really nice, cool side panel art there with it. And then, of course, you got some back art. Shows the other figures in the line. And you get a little bio here. I initially planned on reading the bios to you guys. But, you know what? Let's keep it short and sweet. Just kind of show the figures real quick. Like I said, I'll pop open He-Man and we can take a look at him a little closer, just because he's the guy. He's the He-Man, right? He's the main character, so we'll just open him up to look. But there's Skeletor. So we're just going to set that off to the side now. Then we got Evelyn. Again, you get the little Evelyn here on the side. You get some side art. Really cool side art. I like the side art a lot on these. Again, that same side art on the back in a bigger picture. Figures in the line. Bio. Evelyn is a little bit of a redeco from her original look. You know, we don't see that blue skin. We don't see, or the yellow skin. We don't see the real blue and purpley type costume. This one is a little more like, it's almost as if she's got kind of like a long trench coat type gear on. She's got like a nice big thick leather belt and like a side bag, and that's actually one of her accessories. She does come with an alternate head showing off. It's going to be kind of hard to see in there, but showing off that white hair that she hides under her like kind of helmet crown thing. But I really do like the update, and I don't think it's too far off from her original look, but it is kind of a nice update. Then let's get to our good guys here. This figure was actually a surprise that he was in the first wave for me. Always a character that's been around Masters, but never felt like he was the hugest, most prominent character in the line. Not one that would get a spotlight in the first wave of released figures for any series. So looking forward to the show to see kind of where he fits in. He might be a little more important in this show than he has been in the past, so that'll be pretty cool to see. But we got Moss Man. And again, I'm really sorry about that glare, guys. We'll get better at this. There we go. Really cool figure. He's big. He's real Swamp Thingy almost, you know. He comes with this big, like, vine hand attachment and stuff, so almost like he's shooting out his vines, tendrils, kind of. He does come with some alternate hands, and he's kind of big and swamp monstery and scary. Show you that side art, real cool side art on him. And then here is the bigger version of that on the back panel, his bio of course, and then just Moss Man on the side like all the other figures. And now we have He-Man himself. I've heard a lot of people aren't the biggest fans of the head sculpt on this. I'm okay with it. You know, we can nitpick toys to death, but they're toys. They're meant to be a decent representation of the heroes that we like in our fantasy worlds, and fun to play with. And I don't think this thing falls that short of those things, for me at least. He comes with his power sword. He comes with his shield. He does come with some alternate hands. Little bit of a update to some of his stuff, but not too much. You see this figure and you know it's He-Man. He's undeniably He-Man when you look at him. Here is his side panel art. Here is the bigger version of that same art on the back of the box. Of course, you've got He-Man on the side, all the other stuff. You've got Masters Revelation on the bottom, just like the rest of the figures. We're going to put him to the side here. I'm going to show you the Target exclusives really quick, and then we'll open up He-Man and just kind of briefly, super quick, I'm not doing a review necessarily, but just to kind of give you a look at what these figures kind of entail when you have them out of the box. Target exclusives. First Target exclusive, Skelegod. So this could potentially be kind of a spoiler for the new series. We haven't had a Skelegod figure in any of the previous He-Man toy lines. So this could be something that happens in the new series, and we really don't know what it is yet. So I'm really excited once July 23rd comes around to dive in and find out what Skelegod is all about. I have some ideas based on some of the stuff he comes packed with and just some of the design of his armor. I'll keep that to myself in case you don't want anything or my guesses to spoil it if I'm right. Here we got the side panel art. Got that same art on the back. Bio. Figures in the line. He is a little bit bigger than the other figures in the line. He's more of a deluxe type figure. I think his price tag is a little bit higher than the base figures, if I remember correctly. Real cool figure. Comes with some alternate hands. He comes with a sword here. And then he has like an energy effect that fits over one of his hands as well. Definitely a very different look for Skeletor than we've seen in the past. So pretty excited to see what that's all about. And pretty fun figure as well. And lastly, this one honestly surprised me. This was the figure, again, a Target exclusive that came out that I was really surprised with because it looks really good and I really love the scale of it and I just like the way it turned out, and that is Battle Cat. He is huge and I love that. Battle Cat is one of those characters, mounts in cartoons and such that I feel like you really can't go too terribly big with him. He's got to be big. Like, if you go too big, it's really not too big. He can be as big as your imagination wants him to be. Anyhow, he does have removable saddle, removable helmet, which makes him look like Cringer. Of course, Cringer in the cartoons have always traditionally been much smaller than Battle Cat, but we can't transform a toy into something smaller than it really is without it just being a whole new toy. But you can take off the helmet, you can take off the saddle and give him that Cringer-esque look. He's really well articulated, really fun to play with, really fun to pose. Really was excited about this figure and wasn't disappointed once we got him in hand. Here's side panel art, just like every other figure in the line. And on the back, we actually get to see He-Man on Battle Cat in front of Castle Grayskull there. Bio. Figures in the line, and then a little peek at what he looks like without his helmet and his saddle on. So those are the figures we do have released so far in the line. There has been pictures floating around of another, what I'm assuming is a Target exclusive faker. I don't want to really get into them too much. I don't want spoilers to go down or guesses to be right and ruin something for the fans that want to watch the show. But if you're following this kind of stuff, you've probably seen the pictures pop up. So we do kind of have an idea he's coming. And then a second wave has been seen, listed on some of the sites for pre-order and such. We haven't seen photos of those characters yet, so I won't delve too deep into that. Let's go ahead and pop He-Man open and just take a quick look. Again, eventually the editing skills will be so good that you guys won't have to watch me doing this part. We'll just cut and you'll see the figure on the table. But for now, we're doing it the old school way. Try not to be too noisy. So it just comes in a clamshell with a cover over it. And one of the nice things, for me at least, was that cover holds them in tight. So you don't have to mess with the twisties. Taking off twisties or cutting rubber bands. The figure just pops right out of his shell. Let's get him standing here for a second. He does have alternate hands in here. I'm not going to pop those out, but they are just sword holding hands. Here he has the open hand and a closed fist. So before he falls over, let me pop out his shield and let's pop out the power sword. Get the plastic out of the way so it's not making any more noise. Here's a quick look at his power sword. Not too far from the original. Little updated. It's a little bit it looks a little bit longer than the previous toys that we've gotten. But it's nicely done. It's nicely sculpted. Paint on the handle here, paint on the hilt. Not bad. I'm fairly happy with it, and I don't think it's too far from what we're used to with He-Man figures. Shield is his shield that we always see. That kind of gray look with the rivets and the orange underlay here. Very recognizable as He-Man's shield. And it's just got, on the back here you can see a space where you can slide his hand right on in, and it'll fit right into his open clasped hand there, and he holds it pretty well. Let's get into He-Man himself now. And again, I'm not doing a review, so we're going to do this real quick. Here's just kind of a close-up look. He's got a big beefy body. The most noticeable differences in design here are he doesn't have the Iron Cross on his chest armor here. He has the H, which we've seen in some iterations. And instead of having the double wrist gauntlet like this, the wrist bracelet, he has more of a longer gauntlet on this arm. It does slide off, and you can have him without it, but you won't have a second bracelet like this for this arm. Unless maybe you buy a second He-Man figure and use the one from your second figure to put over here. All in all, I think he's a pretty good look. I like the big beefy body. I like the musculature on him. He doesn't seem too skinny. He doesn't seem too frail. He seems like he's a good height. I really like the aesthetic of his overall build and look. I think they did a pretty good job with that, and I'm a fan of the design. Yes, the head sculpt is a little different than stuff we've seen. It's still recognizable as He-Man. It might be maybe a bit cartoony is maybe the right description for that, but I can deal with it. I'm not too disappointed about it, and I'm certain down the road we're going to get other variants of He-Man that maybe will give us a more traditional looking head, and you'll be able to swap them out as you wish for your desired look. Real quick, we'll just go through articulation quick. You can get his arms up to about here, right into his kind of T-pose. Head swivel, you get a little bit down, not too much back because of the hair here. And he has kind of like a ball joint at the top of the torso here for a little bit of an ab crunch, which is kind of nice. You can kind of rock him back. You can get him in tilt side to side here. Not super far forward, not super far back, but you do get okay range of motion. You'll be able to get him into some okay poses. He's got a bicep swivel like most figures nowadays do. He does have somewhat of a double jointed elbow, which is something that like Masters Classics didn't have. But because of the size of his biceps, you really can't utilize it to its full potential. Even when you curl the forearm half of that the double bicep curl there, you can't really get it all the way up because of that bicep. But still a good, nice range of motion, and it's good to see that they are doing that double joint there. Arms all the way around. Wrist swivel, and they've got hinges so you can go in and out. We would like to see an up and down so we can get that, iconic. I have the power pose with his sword. Maybe down the road we'll get something like that. He has this waist swivel, which is your standard waist swivel. Now his loincloth is a rubbery plastic, but it is a little bit harder. So you can get his leg up, but his loincloth is going to push it down a little bit. But nice range of motion there. Little bit back. Legs go out pretty far. Almost full splits. So not bad there. He does have an upper thigh swivel, which I'm not going to be really great at showing you articulation in this. It's going to be subpar, I promise, because I'm not here to review it. I'm just here to talk about it and share it because everyone asked me to. Double jointed at the knees, so you get a great range of motion there. He does have a boot cut, so he swivels at the boot. And then he has back and forth on the ankles and an ankle rocker. So all in all, one of the more articulated He-Man action figures than we've had in the past. So that'll be fun. We can start to get some of our He-Man figures into a little more dynamic posing than we have been able to in the past. And that's pretty fun. That's pretty exciting. So I'm excited to see what Mattel does with these down the road, and what kind of characters we get, what kind of characters we're going to get in the new show. Again, He-Man was my first love as far as collecting goes, so it's always going to hold a place dear to my heart, and I will always follow anything that comes out for Masters of the Universe. I'm there, and I'm going to support it to the best that I possibly can. So, that being said, we'll end this video. We don't want it to be too terribly long. No one wants to stare at this for too long. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you got a decent look at these figures. I know there's lots of reviews going up. People are excited about these. I hope you're able to check out the show. And in the meantime, we got some new episodes coming to the podcast that should be posting very, very soon. We've got some really awesome guests. We have my good friend Leo, who is a fantastic artist, a great action figure painter, customizer, really creative guy, does some awesome dioramas. So you'll get to listen to me talk to him on the podcast, and he'll on the podcast tell you where you can go see some of his really awesome stuff in the toy community. Then we have Man Cave Collectibles. So if you watch YouTube toy reviews and toy hunts and stuff, you've probably come across Man Cave Collectibles. Great guy. Loves the toy hunt, loves that 80s, 90s nostalgia stuff. So if you're into that like I am, it's a really fun episode to listen to. Go check out his stuff on YouTube, just Man Cave Collectibles. And lastly, we have an episode with Nikki Nicole, who, if you're a Mythic Legions fan, you've probably come across some of her customizing, her painting and stuff. She is fantastically talented and a really awesome person. We had her on the podcast, and we got to talk Mythic Legions and some other collections, and it was a really fun episode. So check out the podcast. You can go to Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere you can find your podcast, you can find it. And it is just Childhood of the Wolf. Anywhere you find your podcast, download an episode, take a listen, and leave some feedback. We have an email, which is just childhoodofthewolf@gmail.com. We, of course, have the YouTube channel, and we have an Instagram under the same name, Childhood of the Wolf, where we try to do some updates and let you know when new episodes are coming out. Post a little bit of our toy hauls once in a while. But it is a good outlet for you guys to reach out to us and say, hey, you know, like, will you take a look at this? Hey, let's talk about this. Like, get some conversations going, get some feedback going. We're welcoming all of it. It's all about the toy community for us, and just diving as deep in as we can and meeting some pretty awesome people that love the same kind of stuff that we do. Other than that, that's all I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Check out our other media. Hope you enjoyed that too. Leave some feedback, likes, subscribes, whatever. I don't really care about that stuff. But the more of us that are here gathering together, talking in the comments and stuff, the more fun it is for everyone. So don't be shy about it. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.